Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 3. Is this episode 3 or 4?
I think it's 4.
Episode 4 of season 2 of Live from the Cave. I will be your host for the evening, Mel Roberson. Shawn Mason and Glenn Murray will not be with us this evening, but myself, along with Robert Hazzard, are holding down the fort, along with 3 of our buddies, which we will have introduce themselves shortly. But just really briefly, my name is Mel Roberson, actor, author, serial entrepreneur. Just kicking it here. And my buddy Robert Hazzard, who is the lover of life and the founder and CEO of the Hazzard Group consulting group that specializes in helping businesses grow exponentially. Exponential growth. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So we are going to start off with guys that have been on the show before. I'm going to go ahead and go over to Kennery to introduce himself real quick. Mr. Kennery Smith.
What's up, sir? Mr. Mel. What's going on, people? My name is Kennery Smith. I love those intros. You guys are it's like next level now. So I'm a professional musician, world traveled. I've published, songwriter, and producer. I used to run a band for about 15 years, a very successful band called Detour Jazz Funk. We played all over the country and did a lot of great things. Played with Simone Green, Walt Whitman, Kim Stratton, Mickey Howard, Cindy Will, Bernie Mac, a lot of people. And I'm just here to try to shed something on you guys. I'm not a lover of life like Robert, but me and life are in a long-term relationship. So
okay,
I hope so, better. Brother. Right, I hope so. Next up, we have part of the Roberson clan. Those Roberson boys, my younger brother. I love this guy with all my heart, man. Dave Rowe, what's happening, man?
What's going on, man? I'm a little bit jealous of the aliases that's just sitting there right pretty, the voice of reason, the lover of life. So in the spirit of the host of the show, I'm gonna say I'm Dave Roberson, enjoyer of NBA playoffs right now. Confused by this social reopening that's going on, trying to figure out my space in it, and just a big time fan of Live from the Cave. So happy to be here.
Dope. Thanks, bro. Last but not least, Terry Hall, new to the cave. What's going on, good brother?
I'm blessed. How you doing today?
Man, wonderful. Tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
Well, it's a list, but I'm going to shorten it real quick. Celebrity radio show host from Atlanta to Chicago, comic book creator, film director, actor, model, and CEO and founder of TJ Production, which is my PR company.
Dope stuff. Well, ladies and gents, if you all could please make sure you share the show to your page so that people tune in. I know the world is opening back up and people are outside doing outside things, but we got some great stuff to share with y'all tonight, man. We got some good topics. So let's jump right in. My brother said something about the NBA, the watcher of the NBA. I haven't watched too many games, but one thing that I did see was that LeBron did not shake any of the Phoenix Suns' hands after he lost. He just walked off the court. See, Glenn's not here to talk about his I wish. See, that's why Glenn's not on the show, because the Lakers lost. It's convenient. It's real convenient that Glenn decided not to be on the show after the Lakers got kicked out of the playoffs.
He couldn't pull himself together.
It shows that LeBron is just being a sore loser.
Okay. So, and I saw it in real time, and I saw him leave while some of the other players were shaking hands. So I had some of those same thoughts. Later on, I did see a picture of him with Devin Booker, who was probably the biggest reason why they got kicked out so embarrassingly. But Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns, and he had actually given him his jersey, signed it, all of those things. So I don't know if it was so much of the sore loser as, maybe he was just, kind of in a space he needed to go do some soul searching. But yeah, So
no, I'm not buying it. But anybody, I'm not buying it. I'm good on that, man. You could have shook hands while you with thinking about going to search your soul.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Well,
didn't he do that before?
Yeah,
he's done some stuff like that before. Yeah, he's
It's
done
not
that
the
before.
first time he's done this, though.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
not the first time. It's not the
So
first time he's done
So
it.
is it the crybaby in him, or what do you think it is?
In
I
his
don't
feeling.
know.
I think he's just focused on next season. He's ready to hit this off season, get conditioned, all of that good stuff. Get ready for next year, man.
Yeah.
Laser focus.
Yeah.
You
Like
can
Kobe.
laser. You can shake
Kobe
some
did it.
hands. You can shake the hand. Man, the best man win. The best man won. You could have shook some hands on your way out, bro.
Right.
That's poor sportsmanship. Period.
Exactly.
That's poor sportsmanship. Man.
Maybe he forgot because last year they were in a bubble and there were no people. I'm just making up stuff.
All excuses are equal.
I'm making up stuff.
Well, I'm glad that you said, Kennery, that you were just making it up. So,
and the Suns didn't have their masks on, so maybe he was just kind of in a space. He wanted to be safe, following NBA protocols, CDC, all that good stuff. So,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think that's what it was. But Lakers are gone now. Dallas.
I think everybody happy on that in some type of way because they say they look at the Lakers like they too dominant. So it was time for them to sit down for a change.
Well, I mean, Brooklyn is there now with the big three that they have, and they are operating on all cylinders. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the Bucks, but they are probably looking like the favorites at this point. Harden's in the zone. Durant is being Durant. Uncle Drew is doing his thing. I don't know who's gonna be able to stop him.
Let's shift gears, fellas, and talk about something that the ladies always like hearing, and we get some good insight. First of all, Terry, are you married?
No, I'm single.
Single. Okay. So my brother is the only married person on the panel. So he speaks for the married people, I guess. All right. So this
I
is
used to be able to do that, Dave.
Yeah. Right.
No
Don't
comment.
get me started on you, Rob.
Yeah, I know.
Lover of more than life, is that what you're saying?
Okay. So here's an interesting topic, and let's dive into this, if it's a topic at all. And I hate to give blanket statements because I don't think that something is an issue, a challenge, or a belief or a situation for all men.
Right.
But the question on the table is, why do men struggle with being faithful?
Wow, I could just write a book on that part.
Why
do men struggle? If you struggle with being faithful, why do men struggle with being faithful?
I mean, I think that was like my biggest problem in like previous relationships. Reason why I say that because when you have in the business I'm in, and when you're out there, and I had a reputation as the bad boy, surrounded by beautiful women, to like my radio show, to the magazines, everything. And yes, it is a struggle, and also temptation at the same time.
Okay. Anybody else want to tackle that?
We're gonna let the guests. At least I let the guests go first.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll certainly jump in. I think a big part of it is the social construct that we have in place that just supports false narratives. And where I'm going with that is, I've told my wife, like, I feel like personally, all men desire new situations, to keep it PG. I don't know how, we got any censorship.
This is an adult show. What are you talking about?
all men, enjoy strange situations and going out and finding new stuff. That's just within us, all men. And I feel like the difference between those who are considered dogs or not is how they manage that desire. Period. Point blank. I would probably be considered, one of the good ones. And I think when people hear that, or when people see me interacting with my wife, they automatically think, oh, he's just, all into her and, doesn't think about anything else. And it's like, the desires are no different than any other man. It's just a matter of I'm real about that. I know what it is, and I know how to manage it. And it's that simple.
So the temperance aspect of it.
Was a good answer.
So I'll say this. So I'm the stereotypical musician. You know, there's the reputation that precedes musicians. But I'll cut that by saying no good deed goes unpunished. So, you know, even if you do what you're supposed to do, that's no guarantee that it's going to mean anything. Having said that, like Dave said, it's how you handle it. It's, to me, most men enjoyed the chase and the challenge. That's just the way it is. But you can do that, you know, you call it flirtation, you call it whatever it is. But then, you know, you go home at the end of the night. You know, it is, and once you've established that you can, for me at least, then that's it. I don't have to, because it's yet another. I mean, it's more the same in a lot of ways.
You know, Kennery, I don't know if I enjoy the chase anymore, though, bro. Well, a couple of things. Number one, I'm relationship minded at this point, right? Like right now, I'm dating, so you know, I'm just dating, but I'm relationship minded. But as far as the chase, things that you have to chase really don't want to be caught.
Exactly.
Right.
You read my post.
I don't mind courting, but I'm not chasing. Like once we establish that we both like each other or whatever, I'll call, I'll check, you know, but every now and then it would be good for you to call and say, hey, how's your day going? What's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not I'm going to let the man chase me. You're going to be running and you're going to look back and I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. Well, let me clarify. Chase, you're right. I'm not a game player. I'm relationship minded. I've pretty much always been that way, but it's just a matter of being social. So if flirtation falls into that category in that moment, that's great. But you know, 9 times out of 10, I've been able to walk away from that, and it's not been a problem. There was
that one time.
No. Honestly, the one time was when she came after me. I mean, this woman came after me like I had never seen any woman come after. I mean, and she was intelligent. She was in town for business. She was like, I want what I want. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to handle that except to say yes.
Oh, okay. And you play a bass, Kennery?
Yes.
Oh, that's why. I mean, that's why the women are coming.
You play 5-string bass. 5-string bass?
Yes, sir.
Oh wow!
See,
I get down.
I don't have your problems, that your situations that you have. I might want to. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful women out there, and when I was in a marriage, you know, there wasn't. I mean, of course, we're going to look, but there's not that chase of going after another woman, particularly when I'm married. But today, maybe like you said, Mel, I'm older, so it's tough. It's harder to to date and find the right one. But yeah, you guys got some great stuff.
Yeah, you know, I dating, oddly enough, for me, dating has become easier the older I've gotten because I know what I want and I know what I don't want. You know what I'm saying? So the lag time between the lead measure and the lag measure, right? Let me stop talking like I'm in a training. But
you put together this.
But
you look at it, when you get older, you're not selling for less. You want something that's stable, something consistent, and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, you know. And Kennery gave a good segue to the next question. How do men feel about women who are doing the pursuing, right? Like, how do men feel about women who are pursuing?
I say that's good and bad.
Okay.
That's a good and bad. Reason why I say good, she know what she wants.
Right. And it's me.
I want him, he's gonna be all mine. Plain and simple. The bad part is you know this woman going to be selfish. She's going to be selfish.
How?
And when I say selfish, a woman is also territorial at the same time.
Well, I mean, does that matter if you know?
Yeah.
If you're
I say
interested,
yeah,
is she fine? I mean, tell me about that.
It's not the outside, it's always the inside that counts.
Okay.
It's the inside. That's what makes a woman is the inside. You know, hey, I want him, he's going to be mine. And if they have on the same page and chemistry, it's going to work.
But how long does it take to get to that inside? Because at least for me, I'm physical. I see things, she's got a beautiful smile, a beautiful body. I'm drawn. It takes a while.
I mean, with me, it got to be both. It got to be both. It got to be the body, the heart, and it got to be the chemistry and the vibe at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sure. So let me be abundantly clear, and I can't put a blanket statement out there for all men, but bro, it's like if I saw a car and the paint job was jacked up and it had dents in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to be interested in buying that car, man. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be a level of attraction. I mean, some level of attraction, and not that she got to be supermodel gorgeous, right? Because different things attract people. You could be someone that's, I don't know, I guess average looking, just to put a term out there, right? You might not be the head turner of the room, but if your conversation and your charisma and your intellect is there, you know what I mean? I would rather have an intellectual sparring partner that's just cute than somebody who's super fine.
That's what I'm talking about.
I can't take her to a black tie affair.
Right.
I mean, I dated many beautiful women. When I say I dated many beautiful women, I dated many beautiful women. But at the same time, it was not only the look, it was always what's inside as well. If she's going to be a keeper or she's just going to be a one night, 1 to 2. And us being a man, we are attracted with something that beautiful, that's banging, everything else. Yeah, we will go after that. And she's going to go after when she sees something very attractive and also status as well.
So one of our viewing audience said, what would Glenn say? Glenn would say he cannot confirm or deny if men like it when women pursue. That's what Glenn would say. Go ahead, Robert.
I was just going to say that if a woman pursues me, I'm just saying, hear this. If a woman pursues me, I'm going to be open to the pursuit. I'm going to have a conversation, and we'll just kind of take it from there. I'm not pushing her away if she wants to. Have
Robert's
a conversation with
DMs are open.
and if she wants to buy me a drink or something like that, like one of our other buddies that doesn't buy drinks is what they said. I'm good with all of that. So I think, and that would probably keep my interest. I think you said, Terry, something regarding that. So yeah, I'm open. I've had good conversations at the bar.
Yeah, and just to acknowledge our audience for tonight, a lot of the ladies are checking in with comments saying that they feel that it is cool to get their approach on. If that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do, and it is what it is.
Come on, bring it on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kennery. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, one of the things I learned early on, I was maybe 30-ish, and the first time I dated an older woman that did pursue me, it was like a revelation because there was a confidence that came with that. And like you said, an assuredness, they know what they want. It doesn't have to be an older woman, but a woman who goes after a man first knows generally who she is and what she wants. And that in and of itself is attractive.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this. Does it get confusing at any point? Because I mean, there is the typical expectation, like we'll take them out, we'll pay for things, or we'll kind of take care of them in some sense. So if you are approached and if they are doing all of the, pursuing, at what point do you feel comfortable getting in there and say, well, hey, let me do this, let me be proactive? Yeah. How do you play that?
That's a good question.
Me, it depends on their personality. It's with dating and women, I take everybody on a case by case basis, so I don't have any preset rules. So I'm going to suss you out. If you happen to be bold enough to approach me, then I'm going to suss out who you are, and then we'll go from there. I don't, if it gets awkward in the middle, we can straighten that out. But if we can't, then that already means that we don't communicate as well. Even if you decided to make the first move, the communication to me is like the number one thing. If you can't communicate well, whether it's through words or body language or actions, then there's nothing happening anyway.
Yeah.
And you can communicate in Rob's DMs right now.
I gotta say the spiritual level.
Thanks,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Why I say the spiritual level for a reason, because if you're in a woman and you believe in God, have that faith in God and everything else, that's like my biggest attraction, and also with the communication at the same time.
Yeah, and let's get some operational definitions out here too. When we say pursue, like sometimes that just means initiate, right? So there's the initiation of the conversation, of the interest, and all of those other things, but it's not like once that happens, you're this dormant guy and you're just waiting for her to bring you flowers and say let's go to dinner,
right,
and all of that other stuff. I mean, sometimes it's just the initiation of it all, and then you find water seeks its own level, right? You figure out where the relationship is going and how you guys jive and gel together to figure out if this is even worth talking about.
Exactly.
So that's kind of cool. Let's look at some of the things that our listeners are saying. Chantel said, "Come on, guys, if she's aggressive and ugly, you won't be open to that. There has to be some level of attraction."
But I don't know, man, because the fact that she, because it takes courage for a woman to come talk to us, right? So I mean, if she's not the best looking woman, I still applaud her for doing that. And I'm still going to have a conversation regardless. And that might even be,
I say if a woman have a confidence in herself, and like we live in the age that the women are more powerful than the men today. And more dominant today. And that's the type of woman I love, because if you have that confidence in yourself, you got me. I'm done. That's the story with me.
So even if she looked like the Elephant Man, as long as she's confident, you good.
If she got that game in that confidence, it's not the talk, it's the actions that count the most.
Okay. All right.
I'm with you on that. But I do want her to have two ears.
Right. She needs to be able to hear me when I,
I'm not dating Vincent Van Gogh. That's just not going to
happen.
Yeah.
All right. So this brings us to the next topic then. What are some telltale signs that a man is not willing to commit?
I should know about commitment.
We're gonna let the guests go on that one.
Really? Again?
I should know about commitment. I mean, that's like my kryptonite. Commitment is my kryptonite till now. Reason why I say that, because I struggle to be with one woman. I struggle. I've been with so many women. It's the temptation, it's the actions, it's also that reputation that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I've never been in a serious committed relationship before.
Wow.
Ever in life?
I run away from commitment.
He's like
never?
Mel, come on.
That's pretty heavy, man. That's pretty.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 48.
Wow.
Okay.
What month level stuff are you?
I walked from it because of the commitment.
Ladies, we're gonna have a therapy discussion right after this call.
We're gonna talk about therapy.
Yo,
shout out to my fraternity brother and normal host of the Man Cave, Shawn Mason, who is in the viewing audience.
What's up, Shawn?
He's actually, I think he's driving right now, so he's not in a position to be on the show. But yo to the news, and I guess Glenn Murray is around
fearless
here.
leader, popped in.
It ain't nobody coming to see Otis. He all right, and the Lakers are out of the playoffs. The Lakers are out of the playoffs, and LeBron is a sore loser and walked off without shaking. It's poor sportsman-like conduct. You know what I mean? You can never be the GOAT when you a crybaby. It's just not possible. Okay, so there's that. Okay. Where were we? All right, so
I mean, the premise of the conversation is what is a telltale sign that a man is not willing to commit. I feel like there's some false premise there in the sense that it should be pretty easy, like, to have a conversation and find out whether the person is willing to commit or not. Like, you know, I've been married a couple of years now, but we went through our dating phase, and my wife had a name for me. She called me a grown man player because basically I wasn't ready to commit. I was doing my thing, but I was honest about it. So, I mean, she knew where she stood, and she knew she could stay or leave. And she did actually, like, leave a time or two, and then we eventually got back together. But I'm a fan of people just not wasting other people's time. Like, if you're in a space in your life where you need to kind of shake and move with different people, say so. Allow that person to choose whether they want to deal with that or not.
Right.
You'll be surprised. There are a lot of people who will stick around, but I mean, just keep it real in that way. And people don't have to read tea leaves as to whether you're willing to commit or not. And nobody winds up getting hurt or frustrated or wasting their time.
I think a telltale sign of a man not willing to commit is lack of commitment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Where's your Captain Morgan?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's it. I've never had a problem with committing. I think, Dave, when you said that about, just stating the facts in terms of what you want, I agree. We as men need to state the facts in terms of this is what it is. I'm ready to commit to you. I'm ready for this relationship, or I'm not ready for it. I want to kind of do my own thing. If they say that they want to do their own thing, that means that they're not ready to commit. But if they say, hey, we're planning, this is what I'm expecting, in the next 3 months or something like that, they're committed to you.
Well, Robert, flip side of that is a lot of, and I'm not going to make a generalization about women in general, but I find that a lot of women seem to ask for communication and honesty. And yet when you give it, it becomes a problem. I'm a commitment-minded person. I always have been. If I'm not interested, then I'm going to say so sometime during the course of before it gets too serious. If something just doesn't feel right, I'm not going to string anybody along. So to me, but how they respond to that sometimes is not always what they say they want, if that makes any sense.
It does.
It makes a ton of sense, bro.
No offense, Louise.
Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense.
I think communication, guys, they say is the biggest problem that women have with us is that we don't communicate. I struggle
may be
with that
guilty of over communicating. So
that's me. And that's how I am. I'm telling you everything. I'm being vulnerable. So I struggle with the fact that, people say that men, it's the blanket statement that we're not able to communicate. And then I have to, take the fall for all the other guys that did not communicate. And here I am doing it.
And part of the challenge there is times when you communicate. I mean, like I think it's been said, but the reaction isn't always probably what it needs to be. Yeah. Sometimes it's too emotionally charged, or sometimes stuff is taken out of context or blown out of proportion. And it's like a slap on the wrist. Don't do that again. So what do you do?
Jamie Gill just made a really good point. She said many women just want you to say what they want to hear, which is not fair. You know what I mean? Like, that's their version of you being a good communicator. You say what I want to hear.
And that's
instead of you just saying what it is.
It's also love. I gotta say, love is also the biggest problem with us men, because I run away from love. That's what was my problem. run away from
for
love.
48 years.
Hell of a
I have a track record on that. So, and like I said, is the communication, the commitment, and also the love. And that was like my biggest thing, walking away from everything, because you get deep with a person, there's the feelings, there's emotions, and me, I just had to back off away from it. I had to.
See, that's interesting, Terry. That is Mel pointed out. You run away from love. I run towards love. So hence the lover of life. But everything. And I don't know that still does it for us, because even though I'm running towards love, as we talked about in the communication piece of it, sometimes people don't hear that love language.
Yeah, one of our viewers earlier, I don't remember who it was. It was up. It said something about the fact, something to the effect of men pushing people away, but wanting to keep her within reach. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like, I guess what about the men that push women away but want to keep her in their reach?
Gwendolyn.
Yeah. So is that a thing?
Gwendolyn out.
Is that a thing of, can I have my cake and eat it too? Right?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It is.
You saying that we push them away but want to keep them within arms?
Yeah, it's like I don't want you, but I kind of want you around.
No,
you know what I mean?
If I push you away, you're pushed.
But I get what she's saying though, bro.
Right.
I get what she's saying though.
Yeah, I get what she's
It's
saying.
like, I'm not all in. This is fun. Kind of. I'm not ready, but come
so
cuddle.
It's walking that line then of commitment then, right? Isn't that where we're taking you're committed or you're not committed? It's the fine line.
I'm committed to fun. That's what I'm. Not me, but in that situation.
I mean, today it's not going for it this time around because they want the whole package deal. No, I'm gonna invade your space and everything else. And that's what us men got to learn how to deal with now. To share our space, have them in our space and everything else. Because I'm like that. I don't really share my space. Yeah. And when you don't share your space, you're being selfish to yourself.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it goes back to that desire we were talking about earlier. I think men kind of desire, to put it back in the basketball perspective, we want a team, we want a roster, right? And we don't want anybody leaving the stadium, going to another team. We want you on our bench, even if you're not out on the court right now. We want to know that if we need to pull you in at any given point, you are there and ready to go and take your warm-ups off. So yeah, I think that's what it is. We just want access, and we want access to a number of people at any given time. If we can have it that way.
So let me ask you this then. What about the women that operate like that though? Like they operate like, I just want you around to pull you off the bench. Right. If in those times, because I mean, there's some women out there that's like, yeah, I'm really not trying to have a relationship right now. I'm just dating. I'm just having fun. I'm just kicking it, whatever. So how do you all feel about women that operate from that perspective or from that standpoint when, hell, you just one of the ones on the roster?
Oh, nope.
I don't play fair on that part. I don't, because if you're doing that, I could do it too. And that's I call it spades a spades on that part.
Yeah, I'm weak in that area. I'm gonna just say I've fallen. I couldn't get up. So when that happens for me,
well, I don't think you want to use "I couldn't get up" part. Just pick some different language, bro.
I was thinking of Eartha Kitt, Marcus. I was one of those. Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
Well, if you're in that space, if the understanding is there, if everybody's been honest, and you're in a space that you're not looking for love or a committed relationship, then it's fine. It's just one of those things. I personally don't like sharing, so I'm not really going to be in that space. There's a saying that was in a movie that said, when I'm with a woman, I walk into a room full of other women, she's the only one that I see. So that's how I'm kind of, my mindset is. So I don't want to be number 1 of 10. I don't want to be in a set. I'm not a collectible. So
to get back.
I like that, Kennery.
To get to the question, in terms of fairness, just outright fairness, you could say that it's fair. I'm a person that says, like, whatever decisions you make or choices in life, you just need to be prepared for the consequences or the outcomes of those.
Yep.
I think there's a deeper conversation to be had here, just because I personally don't think that men and women are created alike.
No.
And we don't necessarily need to do the same things. And if we do the same things, it's going to have different ramifications on who we are and how it impacts us. So, for a woman that wants to do that, it's kind of like, have at it. But at the end of the day, I just don't think it's going to be a representation of your best self. And I think it can probably wind up eating away at you. Not to say that it's the greatest thing in the world for men to just have a harem.
That's the culture. That's how the culture has been built.
Right. Yeah. But I think it can potentially impact women on a deeper level on a longer term basis. And again, that's probably a deeper conversation for another cave, but that's just how I feel.
So I'm gonna throw something out here. If the man doesn't communicate, well, bring that back up, Roger. What was that? If the man doesn't communicate, women have to leave their options open. Okay, that's one way to look at it. That is definitely one way to look at it.
That's
fair.
Fair.
So let me go ahead and throw this statement out. Let me be Shawn Mason for a moment. All right. Put my Shawn Mason hat on. Right. In this relationship conversation. Right. So if you think about the physiology of men and women, right, just from the standpoint of if a woman and procreation, right, if a woman was to have sex with a man and be impregnated, she's off the shelf for reproducing for 9 to 10 months, right? But a man can impregnate as many times as they're ovulating. You know what I mean? Like a man can have 50 kids at the same time, but a woman can have one. So from that standpoint, it's just different. Like we're built different, like Dave was saying.
So and I said it's another conversation for another day, but you decided to take it there and stir the pot like TJ, I think, just said in there.
That must be the Roberson family. That must be a trade or something.
So on that point, if we want to go there, I mean, you're absolutely right. You get the one baby per 9 months. Man could do it, for more months than that, obviously. But in addition to that, and I've tried to explain this, and people try to argue it, but I don't think it's arguable. There is different responsibility when it comes to sex for a man and for a woman. So to that point, if a man and a woman have sex and a woman gets pregnant, she can't leave her womb. A man could go across the world to China, to another country, not to say that it's the right thing to do or that it's warranted or anything else like that, but physiologically speaking, he can do that. So there's a different set of responsibilities that come with the outcomes based on the choices you make to have sex with somebody. So from that standpoint alone, it's a little bit heavier for a woman. That's just how we're made. Again, not to say that it's right for a man to up and leave, but you just need to know that going in. Right. And it just makes a difference.
And we didn't set it up that way, so that's not something we can be blamed for.
Man, Dave,
we gonna be blamed anyway, bro. What do you mean we can't be blamed?
Hey, Dave, that was heavy, man. That explanation you just gave. I'm gonna have to have a drink to that because
he's a Roberson, man. This is, I don't know why you expected anything different.
Man,
Yeah, and
that's deep.
it's the real talk of the situation. I mean, I even had the conversation with my wife, and she was up in arms and got a little upset and feisty about it. But at the end of the day, you can't really argue the reality of that.
You can't argue science. You can't argue science. By the way, shout out to my sister-in-law. I love her so much. She's dope. Dave has a super dope wife, and she has been a great addition to the family. So I don't know. She probably ain't watching the show. She don't give a damn about this show. But in the event that she watches, she's on
a family Zoom right now, so that's the reason why she's there.
Okay.
Oh, is that the reason why you're speaking so eloquently, Dave? Because she's on another call. I'm just asking.
So let me circle back, because we had a lot of conversation about communication, right, and lack thereof, or women wanting us to communicate how they want us to communicate. And here's one of the things that I've learned over time: everybody doesn't communicate the same. Their communication skills aren't the same. The examples that they've had of good communication are not the same. How they communicate in their job or business may not be how they communicate in personal relationships, romantic or friendships. Yeah. And so one of the things that I teach on repetitively is that relationships, whether they're friendly, business, or romantic, fail because of poor communication and unmet expectations. And sometimes we don't even communicate what the expectations are of the other person. We expect them to fill these roles that we have in our heads, or do these particular things, or understand us, or love us a particular way, when we haven't even communicated the expectation of those things. We just think, well, if I'm doing this, they should be doing that. You know what I mean? As if it was a scientific response that every time this happens, that happens. And they may not have been raised that way, or understand it, or even know that that's important to you. So how do you all feel about that? Communication and expectations.
I say it goes both ways, because me as a man, I expect the communication and also the expectation of that woman at the same time. And she's expecting the same thing from me. And at the same time, you got to come correct with each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think all of that gets sussed out. It should get sussed out in the process of getting to know each other. I mean, you know, if you got somebody, if you're in it with somebody that seems like they're a communicator, then these are just the things that you all need to talk about. It's that whole mind reading thing that sometimes comes up that is expected of us, or traditions, or whatever that label that you want to put on when men are supposed to know certain things, or even when women supposed to know certain things. It doesn't make any difference, because everybody's an individual. You have to take into account, like you said, Mel, everybody has a different upbringing, different experiences. And so you can't, when you start assuming stuff, that's the downfall of that relationship to begin with.
Amen.
I agree with you on that, Kennery. I think, I was just having this discussion with my guys earlier today. We were talking about, I was talking about upbringing and what I saw in my family household, and in coming up and thinking that the things that I saw in my family that my mom and dad did were applicable for relationships today. And guess what? They weren't. But I was still holding on to that, and so going to that. So I really think today we need to spend time with the women that we're pursuing and asking questions. And once we start asking questions, we will draw out the things that we need to draw out from those relationships. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that, and to help with that, I have this book, ladies, that I carry around. It's called The Book of Questions. Yes, it's called The Book of Questions. So It's not, it's not an interview. So page number 177. No, I'm not going to read that. But it does help, with, asking questions, getting to know people.
Well, it's also one of the reasons why, when you're talking about something like marriage, why counseling and real and good counseling is like critical because you'll go years with assumptions hanging over the head, and then all of a sudden one of those bombs drops, and you'll be like, "Well, I didn't know that because we didn't talk about that. Why would you assume that I knew?" It's why my ring is gone right now. But because there were assumptions in place that were never spoken of, and then suddenly when the situation came up that called on those assumptions to come into play, then it was like, oh, but I thought you knew. It's like, no, like, hey, how could I?
Yeah.
But do you guys find that? Here's a question. Sorry, Mel.
No, go ahead, bro.
Find that when you have made a wrong assumption, do you admit that to the woman, or are you letting ego not that?
Man, I'm the king of I apologize, I didn't know, or I apologize, I thought it was this way. Like that's my thing. Like, man, I had no idea, I had no clue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want them to think that I was operating in a particular fashion.
Yep.
And I knew the information, right? Yep. Like my actions were based on a lack of information or understanding. So I can't, man, I don't mind apologizing. Right. I'm big for now. The other part of that is that has gotten me into trouble before, because now it's like, well, when you think I'm wrong and I'm not wrong and I don't apologize, it's like, nah, I'm gonna stand on this one. Like, yeah.
What do you think about that, Dave? I know you're married, so it's a little different for you, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the whole conversation of, expectations and all of those things. I personally think that disappointment is a function of expectation.
Yeah.
And just if you think about anything that you're disappointed about, it's usually based on what you expected it to be and how it was different from how the outcome was different than what you expected. So not to say that you shouldn't expect anything, but just it shines a light on how important it is to adjust your expectations, be realistic about your expectations, so that way you don't just live a life full of disappointment. And it comes back to that communication to make sure that you all are on the same page.
That's the big
deal. And you just being realistic about outcomes and how people operate.
But one thing that Mel said, the way you operate, you have to be, is a difference between being resolution minded and just being of the mind to be right. So if you're resolution minded, then that apology comes easy, because I want to resolve this and we can put that behind us, or we can work on it or whatever. But if you're concerned with being the person that's right, then, when somebody makes an assumption and they're wrong about it, if you're going to laud that over their heads, or if you're going to weaponize it, then that becomes a problem. So you have to know whether the person you're with is resolution minded, or if they're of the mind that they need to be correct.
Yeah, and how much better could things be if we didn't live in a space of right and wrong, but just what's best? Right. And it doesn't even necessarily require apologies all the time, but just really let's think about what's best and what's going to get us to that place. And usually when you're in that space of right and wrong dynamics, in order for me to be right, you have to be wrong. Right. And that's what is just a bad premise to begin with. So
versus,
and that happens a lot. That happens a lot, Dave, in marriage. It's a right or wrong thing, and I have to be wrong so that you can be right. But I think that we need to change that, in not just in marriage, but in relationships. I think that how can we create a win-win for both of us?
We have to have goals. When you have goals, then if you're on the same page towards the same goal, then it doesn't really matter. It shouldn't matter.
It's team.
That.
It's team.
Partnership.
It's not the bench. Oh, sorry. It's the bench thing.
Crazy. What else we got? Crazy. Let me see. Is there anything else? Let me see what's going on in our viewing audience. Go ahead, Robert.
While you're doing that, what do you guys think of this concept? Where it says that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right?
It's
But they
Yep.
take that, Maya Angelou quote. I think they take it out of context because
True.
there cannot be. You've been dating me for 6 months or so, and I've screwed up one time in my thoughts or my communication, and then you come back and say, or somebody comes back and says, "See, my mama told me about you." What do you guys think of that? When somebody shows you who they are, is
I
there
mean, I've
any
been through
grace
that.
or anything that?
I don't think it's a
I mean,
one-time event.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Even if it says believe them the first time, it's
yeah,
not. It's a behavior. You have to look at a pattern of behavior. That's what
Yeah.
to me. That's what that means.
yeah. That
Yeah.
has gotten under my skin. You can't tell, but we hear that a lot, and it's that one we've been doing, even to your point, Terry, about love and some other stuff. We've been doing great all this time, and now
Yeah.
all of a sudden something happens, it goes south, and you want to point to, I should have listened. They told me this, that, or the other.
But
They
that's that
told you,
person.
yeah,
But it goes. I mean, it goes both ways. Reason why I said that when something goes south,
yeah,
it's called a blame game.
Yep.
It's called a blame game because the woman is going to blame the man for messing up the relationship, depending on something petty, something outrageous. Is it something?
Mhm.
If a reason why I'm saying that because if something is not serious, if something's going perfect, everything's going fine, you're going to find something to sabotage that relationship.
Yep.
Fellas, we got a few minutes before we have to close out the show.
Oh.
Something that we have not done in some time. And since this has been a relationship heavy show,
Ooh,
we had some
I know
topics
where you're going
tonight.
with this.
Oh yeah.
It's time for a playlist.
See,
I
you
know.
always
Right?
call playlists.
Time for a playlist. So Terry,
Yeah.
I don't know if some of the other shows you've seen, bro. One of the things I'll do is I'll ask for a playlist. So since we've been talking about relationships, making up, breaking up, getting together, all this other stuff, let's do a little slow jams playlist. I won't make you say male or female or group, but just give me 3 banging slow songs. Like if you had a girl, I'm gonna show you how much I love you. Playlist. Terry, give me 3 songs.
Living for the love of you.
Ooh.
Living for the love of you.
Yeah,
By who?
Isaac Brothers.
Isley Brothers. That's Isley Brothers.
Okay.
I mean, I gotta say, Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay. What
Turn
song?
off the lights.
Turn off the lights. Okay.
I gotta say, Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing.
Okay, that's it. That's your 3.
Yep.
That's Teddy. Okay. Sexual Healing. All right. By Marvin Gaye. Who wants to go second? I'll let y'all go voluntarily.
Keep going.
I'm going last. I got guess. We're the
Nah, you ain't going last. Dave, come on, bro. You a Roberson, man. Come on, Dave. Show them how it's done off the top of the head.
So we're doing 3 slow songs that achieve what purpose?
Just whatever slow songs you want, bro.
Hey,
Just give me 3.
I got
Just give
something
me
in
3.
mind, Dave. Go ahead.
I've been really on my new school wave a little bit. I enjoy 90s R&B and all that good stuff, but there's some really good new music that's out there. So one is Collide, that was in the Queen and Slim on the Queen and Slim soundtrack. Earth Gang and Tiana 9 Major. Pretty dope. If you haven't heard it yet, you need to look it up.
Okay.
Another one I would say is
Glenn, you don't get selections today. You're not on the show. Go ahead, Dave. What's your second one?
You talking about emailing this stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh, another one is kind of tight on slow jams right now.
Give me old school then, because we running out of time.
Yeah, R. Kelly comes to mind. Seems like you're ready. That is very
you gonna
utilitarian.
put R. Kelly on the list, bro?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if you want to, you want to continue the R. Kelly conversation next week, we can. We can do a whole hour. But you're not gonna take away that big chunk of my life just because.
Whatever. Give me one more damn song, man.
It's a backyard party, Dave.
Yeah, and I'll go to 112. Can I touch you?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kennery, give me something, bro.
All right. Well, let's see. I'm
Give me 3.
Sensuality by the Isley.
Why y'all so Isley heavy? Sensuality. Isleys.
There's a song called Making Love by Herbie Hancock.
Ooh, that's a joint. That's a joint.
Yep.
That's a joint right there.
And
okay.
The third one is, I don't know why I can't think of the title. It's by Marcus Miller and Michelle Indigale-Cello.
Marcus Miller.
The doom, 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 doom. I can't think of the title.
We'll try to find it, or we'll do it after the show. All right, Hazzard, give me your 3.
You are ready. Here we go. Let us see. Anything for you? Babyface, Exceptional. And,
hold on. I don't write that fast. Babyface. Exceptional. All right. What's the next one?
So, Corin Hathron, Speak to Me.
Okay, you're going to have to text me that because I don't know that.
I don't know.
All right.
She's new school, but I like that song.
Okay, I get to give 3. I'm going to go with GP by Tiambe Lockhart.
Oh,
okay.
Y'all might not have heard that, but that's my joint. I am going to go with it's kind of a stepper's cut, but it's a slow joint too. I'm gonna go with Promise Me by Luther.
Okay. I started with Luther.
That's a joint right there.
Yeah.
Third one is so hard. You know what? We don't have a whole lot of women on here. I'm gonna go with Living All Alone by Phyllis Hyman.
Ooh, okay. That's a good
one.
That's a good one.
Oh, and my third one, Shawn and another brother said it was Rush Over. That's the title.
Rush Over. Yeah. Rush Over. Where are you? Rush Over.
That's a sexy song.
All right.
Tell your dad we said what's up.
All right. Yeah, yo, to the noob, happy birthday to him. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been live from the cave. Again, Shawn Mason and Glenn Murray could not be here. So thank you, Kennery and Dave, for filling in, and Terry as our special guest. We are here every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We know that the world is open and you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here with us. We love each and every one of you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Have a great day. Take care. Take charge. Peace. Love y'all.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.